If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. That's like,
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
I don't like nothing about him.
Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis have been at odds for a while, but we never truly grasped how intense things could get in person until now.
So I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
147?
147.
I tapped that trend. You know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
he ain't got no chance.
I already know.
It's almost fight week for Gervonta Davis, and as he wraps up training camp in preparation for his 31st fight and 29th knockout, he and his opponent, Roach, took part in a behind-the-scenes press meeting. The two sat down for a roundtable interview in Brooklyn, New York, near the venue where the fight will take place. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford has been in New York since Keyshawn Davis's fight against Dennis.
Whoever, I told Tank know what's up. You know what I mean? He know what he up against when he fights Shakur or Keyshawn. You know what I mean? He want to fight these.
The fight took place on Valentine's Day at Madison Square Garden, with Terence Crawford among the big names in attendance, alongside Claressa Shields and other top boxers. Since then, Crawford has remained in New York, planning to head to Saudi Arabia next to watch Shakur Stevenson face Floyd Schofield. In a surprising turn of events, Crawford showed up at the press meeting between Gervonta Davis and Roach. The tension quickly escalated into a brawl after Gervonta Davis confronted Crawford over his recent comments, leading to a chaotic scene.
Tank would never even think about to come up to 154.
What about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Crawford acknowledged making the comments and even dared Gervonta to do something about it. However, before Davis could react, Crawford made the first move, shoving him before others quickly stepped in to separate them. So, what really happened? And what did Crawford say that sparked their latest feud? The 37-year-old from Omaha, Nebraska, has accomplished more than most fighters dream of since turning pro in March 2008, securing world titles in 4 weight divisions and becoming the undisputed champion at both super lightweight and welterweight. As he gears up for a mega fight later this year against Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez, Crawford has sent a bold message to a reigning world champion, one he believes is too arrogant.
I just felt like, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around.
Speaking on the Cigar Talk podcast, Terence Crawford didn't hold back when discussing WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, admitting he's not a fan of the 30-year-old from Baltimore. "I just really don't like that dude, I really don't," Crawford said. "I don't like anything about him. I just feel like he's one of these arrogant little dudes who uses what he has as a shield. He's always surrounded by security guards, and you know what I mean, he's in the limelight. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that." When asked if he respects Davis as a fighter, Crawford gave credit where it was due. Yeah, he's a damn good fighter, you know what I mean? I respect him as a fighter. He's got skills, power, and tremendous boxing ability. But his core personality and his ways? Nah.
I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
A potential showdown between the two American stars seems unlikely anytime soon due to the significant weight gap between them. Crawford's last fight took place at 154 pounds in August, and his upcoming showdown against Canelo is set for 168 pounds. Meanwhile, the highest weight division Gervonta Davis has competed in is super lightweight, though most of his success has come at lightweight. Despite this, Davis remains an unsolved puzzle for his opponents, boasting an undefeated 30-0 record. He currently holds the WBA title in a stacked lightweight division that is in desperate need of unification bouts.
I know him and he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his ways.
Vasyl Lomachenko holds the IBF title, Shakur Stevenson reigns as the WBC champion, and Keyshawn Davis recently claimed the WBO belt with a devastating body shot knockout of Denis Berinchyk on Valentine's Day. Crawford was in attendance to witness his training partner's victory and, in the immediate aftermath, told Fight Hype that Gervonta Davis wouldn't stand a chance against Keyshawn or Shakur. Tank knows what's up, Crawford said. He knows what he's up against if he fights Shakur or Keyshawn. He wants to take on guys that everyone knows won't really challenge him. They might have some skill, but mentally, they can't sustain it for a whole fight. Shakur and Keyshawn? Those are the guys who will hand him his first LS, no doubt.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens, or is it like...
Both Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis share the same mindset when it comes to a potential showdown with Gervonta Davis. In exclusive interviews with TalkSport.com over the past few weeks, both fighters confidently weighed in on the matchup. Keyshawn, in particular, exuded confidence, comparing a potential fight with Gervonta to the dominant performance Crawford delivered against Errol Spence Jr. in July 2023 to claim the undisputed welterweight crown. I see myself putting the same beating on Gervonta as Terence did on Spence, Keyshawn told TalkSport.com. I feel like his style is perfect for mine. I'm young, and I don't think it would go the full 12 rounds, but if it does, I can fight all 12. I'm smarter than him inside and outside the ring. I'm just smarter than him, period. The only thing people will bring up is that one punch.
Guys that everybody in the world know they ain't gonna give them no fight. They not mentally there, you know what I mean? They might have a little skills here and there, but mentally wise, they not gonna...
I have power, and I've knocked fighters out with one punch, but he's done it consistently, Keyshawn said. We know he has that one-punch knockout ability, but people don't yet know what I truly have because I've only had 12 fights, and I've only been competing at an elite level for 3 of them. My fight against Baranchyk was my 4th at that level, so there are still a lot of things people haven't seen from me. I'm better than what I've shown so far. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson has been chasing a fight with Gervonta Davis for years, but to no avail. He still doesn't understand why the fight hasn't materialized, though he knows exactly who has the power to make it happen. He's the big superstar, the biggest name, the biggest pay-per-view attraction in boxing, Stevenson told TalkSport.com, so with him being the top name and the biggest draw, it's on him to make the fight happen.
Be able to keep it up, that whole fight. And them 2 guys right there, you know what I mean, is going to be the ones that, you know, give him his first hit.
The ball is in his court, Stevenson said. I can't say I'm going to send him an offer, Turki Alalshik can. Turki has the money, I don't have the kind of money to send Gervonta Davis an offer big enough to make the fight happen. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, he's a weird human being. To be honest, I don't have much respect for him. Davis is set to return to the ring on March 1st in Brooklyn, facing WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach. If he emerges unscathed, he is expected to take on one of the 3 reigning champions next.
Yes.
Said no chance.
I got round 5.
Yeah, I got round 6.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah.
Lomachenko seems to be the front runner at this point, as Davis's team reached out to the Ukrainian slickster about a potential fight last year. However, Lomachenko chose to take some time away from the sport instead. Essentially, the potential showdown between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford stemmed from what transpired at the Ring Magazine Awards in London back in January, where Davis was notably absent. The entire boxing elite gathered at the London Ring Magazine Awards, but a few notable absences stood out, with the most prominent being Gervonta Davis. Despite announcing his retirement for 2025, Davis remains unbeaten with a 30-0 record, including 28 knockouts, placing him among boxing's elite. Davis was likely not invited due to his strained relationship with Riyadh Season and Sheikh Turki Alik, who also owns the Ring magazine. It seems the lightweight champion wasn't too pleased about being excluded and expressed his frustration on his X, formerly Twitter, account, posting and later deleting several posts. Terence Crawford seized the opportunity to mock Davis, which sparked a social media dispute that continued until Tuesday. Davis quickly followed up with more deleted posts, criticizing both the organizers and the attendees. While the exact reasons behind Davis's absence from the Ring Awards remain unclear, his reaction to being left out was undeniable. The tension between the 2 champions, who have been at odds for some time, has now escalated. Crawford, who recently met with Turki Alik and is potentially heading toward a mega fight with Canelo Alvarez later this year, took a jab at Davis, posting, "I see somebody mad they weren't invited to the Ring magazine gala. I remember being left out, that's why when they let me in, I crashed the party. He added mocking emojis in response to Davis's deleted posts, which some users managed to capture. To understand why Crawford responded with such a taunt, it's essential to look back at the posts Davis shared before deleting them. Although the posts were deleted, several publications managed to capture and include them in their reports. In one of his posts, Davis questioned, why didn't they invite everybody, before adding, but they invited people they deal with. Get out of here, stop bum eating. He then appeared to direct his frustration toward Eddie Hearn, saying, look at that little rat thinking he came up on something. Now tell them all to fight each other since they have such a heavy roster. Davis also had words for Turkey Alec, first telling him to take the opportunity to fight among all the guests. He followed up by criticizing Alec, stating, he doesn't know anything about boxing. In another deleted message on his X account, Davis seemed to direct his frustration toward the head of Riyadh season, suggesting, they want to act like this guy is good for boxing when he's not good at anything. If he was, why isn't he building fighters from where he's from? This guy knows nothing about boxing, and yet this is who they're turning to. Davis then ranted about how, unlike him, many fighters are willing to leave American shores to make their money, but in the end, all they get is a barely noticeable crowd at their fights. The back and forth between Davis and Crawford continued through Tuesday, seemingly sparked by Gervonta bragging to Terence about having more money. Davis didn't take kindly to Crawford's response and, in more deleted posts, called out Bud over how much money he makes. I still make more than you. Y'all think he's chasing greatness, but he's not. That's what he has to do to make decent money, Crawford wrote to Davis. The first thing a rich fool tells another rich fool is that he has more money than you. I bet I have more investments than you, and I don't owe $1 in taxes. You can't buy anything I can't buy, and that's a fact. Let's see who has the longest lasting money, smart boy. Davis responded, not with a complaint, but with some insults of his own. Fans might find this interesting. During the press conference for the Lamont Roach fight last year, Davis shocked everyone by announcing he would retire from boxing by the end of 2025. If that's the case, many followers might wonder why he would care about formalities like not receiving an invitation. However, this may not be the first time Terence Crawford took a jab at the Baltimore native. After defeating Errol Spence Jr. and becoming the undisputed champion, Crawford heard about Gervonta's claim that he could beat him at 147 pounds. Speaking on The Breakfast Club, Crawford remained unbothered, acknowledging Davis's skills in the ring but suggesting there are levels in boxing. He played down the banter, stating, if he comes up to 147 thinking he's just going to knock me out, he's got another thing coming. While a clash between the two American boxing icons may never happen, Crawford seems focused on one fight ahead, the one against Canelo Alvarez.
Gave a little prediction on the fight, talked about Errol has a metal shield and you have a glass shield, talked about the punch resistance. What do you think it takes to Cessna, man?
Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis are currently 3 weight divisions apart, though they've competed in the same classes in the past. Crawford started his career at lightweight, where Davis is now a world champion. He later became undisputed at super lightweight, a division where Davis has also claimed a title. Crawford has since continued to move up, clearing out the welterweight division before making his debut at 154 pounds last year. Meanwhile, Davis remains at 135, holding the WBA world title and knocking out all challengers. The big-hitting Baltimore native has claimed in the past that he could knock Crawford out, possibly in jest, but the bigger man has warned him not to punch above his weight.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
See, okay. What about, everyone's talking about Errol fighting the
While a fight between them seems highly unlikely, some still believe it wouldn't be a foregone conclusion. In an interview with Real Life Productions, multi-division world champion Roy Jones Jr. expressed his belief that it would be a competitive matchup if the two met just below the welterweight limit, giving Tank a solid chance. "One reason I don't see anyone beating Bud is unless it's someone much bigger than him. But don't sleep on the fact that if he and Tank fought at around 145, that's a good damn fight, you understand me?" Jones said.
But Crawford, on the other hand, I don't see nobody around that's gonna let beat Bud unless somebody way bigger than him. But don't sleep on the fact that
both fighters have incredibly high boxing IQs, and Tank's explosive power is something Errol Spence didn't have. "An explosive fighter can go a long way," Roy Jones Jr. explained. "I was able to cover the weights I did because I was so explosive. That explosiveness keeps opponents in check." The two Americans will continue their careers on separate paths, with Crawford eyeing a showdown against super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, a fight that would require a 14-pound jump. Meanwhile, Tank will face Lamont Roach Jr. in March before, as stated in his recent press conference, retiring by the end of the year. For now, Tank fans can look forward to his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach Jr., set to take place at the Barclays Center on March 1st.
if him and Tank fought at about 145, that's a good daggone fight. You understand me? Matter of fact, that's a good damn fight. You understand me? Because they both have very high IQs, and Tank is very explosive. That's the one thing Tank got.
While the fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez seems to be on track for this year, Gervonta Davis has now thrown his hat into the ring. Crawford and Canelo are reportedly close to finalizing a deal for this mega showdown, bringing together two of the sport's best pound-for-pound fighters. The fight is said to have come together after both met separately with Saudi chief Turki Al in London over the weekend, following a year of back-and-forth discussions about whether or not it would actually happen. Though most boxing fans are excited about the potential clash between Crawford and Canelo, it appears that another one of the sport's biggest stars isn't too impressed.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you.
With Gervonta Davis apparently not a fan of the fight between Crawford and Canelo, his coach, Calvin Ford, has also shared his thoughts on how the fight might unfold. The debate over who would come out on top between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford continues to heat up. It's set to be one of the biggest fights in boxing, bringing together two pound-for-pound greats, though it would require Crawford to make a significant jump in weight. In a recent interview with Fight Hype, Davis's trainer Calvin Ford weighed in on the potential matchup and seemed to be leaning towards the Mexican champion.
This Terence Crawford Canelo situation, do you think that's a fight where they could get to a weight that makes sense? Do you think that the weight would affect Terence Crawford?
Canelo's the king. Whatever he say, you know what I'm saying?
Canelo is the king, and it's a great fight. I'd love to see it and find out how it ends. Canelo's been making solid moves in his fights. Ford also talked about Crawford's last performance, where he moved up to 154 pounds to defeat Israel Madrimov, though he couldn't secure a stoppage. It was his first fight at that weight, and while you can't deny he brought his power with him, he had to make adjustments. It's similar to when Benavidez moved up in weight, it's all about how they adjust. I hope Terence Crawford gets another chance at that weight to show the world what he's capable of. If it's not there, then we can start questioning.
But it's a good fight. I like to see that fight, the outcome of it, you know what I'm saying? And then watching Canelo been making some good moves, as far as fights and whatnot,
That's all for now. For the latest updates on news, moments, events, and all things boxing, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our top quality content. Until next time, peace out.